Welcome back to Morning Cup of Brand Spark, the short human conversations where we explore the mirror moments that change how we see ourselves and how we lead. Today's guest is Lauren Cockerell, PR strategist, founder of Kwedar and Company, Kwedar Co, podcast host, mother, and a woman who rebuilt her life in the middle of a moment that would quite literally break many of us. She was 8 months pregnant when she was laid off. And instead of collapsing, she created a business and a leadership philosophy built on values, people, presence, and a profound clarity. This is a story about forced reinvention, values under pressure, and the truth that emerges when everything else falls away. So let's get started.
In the mirror light I see what's true. The spark in me, the spark in you. One cup, one truth, one little fire. Morning voices climbing higher. So grab your cup, let's spark it up.
All right, welcome back to Morning Cup of Brand Spark. This season is all about the mirror conversations. Today, I'm sitting with someone who basically rebuilt everything in the middle of one of the hardest moments imaginable. Lauren didn't choose her pivot, it chose her. So we're going to talk about what happens when that happens and how you rebuild with clarity, with courage, and a people-first heart. Lauren, thank you so much for joining me today.
Gina, I'm so happy to be here. I can't wait for our conversation.
I loved our warm-up energy already, so I'm already like, oh, this is going to be so much fun.
Try not to just chuckle through the whole intro.
So before we dive in, what's in your cup this morning, and can you tell everyone where you're joining from?
Yes, well, I'm in Fort Worth, Texas, and we are recording at almost noon local time. So the cold brew has come and gone. Electrolytes have come and gone. Now I'm onto my, giant 40-ounce water.
I was really inspired by your story. But first, it's Monday.
Yes.
These always launch on Friday, but it is Monday. My day is ending. Yours is halfway through. If you could describe how your week has started off in one word.
Little frenetic.
Already half
Yeah.
of the day in.
Yes.
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
It's okay. It just is. It is.
It is what it is.
We're fine. We're good.
All right. Well, let's jump in. So take us back to the moment. You were 8 months pregnant.
Yes.
You got laid off. Thing felt, I'm sure, like it was up in the air. What did that moment actually show you about yourself? How did you feel? What happened?
Yes, that was such a tender, vulnerable, emotional moment, which is, of course, heightened by some extra hormones coursing through your body. And so I was working in-house for an IT company at the time. To be honest, I was already looking for the exit door. It was not, as you might have guessed from the ending, it wasn't the best culture. Let's to put it
Couldn't have
mildly.
been.
Yeah,
Yeah.
little on the toxic side. So I'd already been through the ringer there. And so my husband and I got my start at a PR agency, and I really missed that environment. I really missed helping people. I missed solving problems. And when I transitioned into this corporate role, my role evolved really quickly into selling commodities for them, like selling hosting and things like that. So, like, that is not a problem solving. Like, people are just like, "Stop talking and tell me which is the cheapest package," which
Oh,
I was
yuck.
I was not personally put on this earth to do. Uh,
No.
"Let's talk about your needs and goals." They're like, "No, which one's $9.99?" I'm like, "Get me out of here."
Can I have 30 days free?
Yeah, like, "Oh boy, oh boy."
No.
So, the my time was coming to an end regardless, and I had really thought, okay, I don't know if I'm ready to start my own company. That is something I want in my life. Maybe when I'm 40. When I'm 40, I'll know everything. Then all will become clear. So I'm probably
Is it all
36
clear
at that.
now?
Yeah. Spoiler alert. 4 years ago when I turned 40, it did not all become clear.
Awesome.
So this was, it was in the tea leaves to a degree, but but then that day dawns, and what's not in my bio that you've read is that morning I had mailed a $5,000 check to a coach who I thought, "Okay, I don't know what's next for me. I don't know if I go in-house again. I don't is now the right time? Like, I need some help just kind of putting myself back together. I've been broken by this company."
Yeah.
And so they call me up and lay me off, and I watched the mail truck drive away with my check. I'm like, "Yeah, it was a local company, but yeah, they called me on the phone." But I had a sense that something was coming because,
Yeah.
I'm just an empath by nature, like, things felt different, over the probably about the month prior, every week on the phone, just things just felt like, things felt a little cagey, like, they were
Were they
struggling to
more
commit to the
cold?
Yeah, a little colder,
Oh,
a little more, even more aloof than normal, like, like, "Well, what are we gonna do about this?" "Oh, I don't know." I was like, "Oh, shoot."
yeah.
So, I mean, I went to my husband, I said, "Babe, I think they're gonna let me go. I can't believe it, but, I think this is gonna happen. Like, are we okay? How much time do we have?" And he was like,
Yeah.
you got about this. We've got this. You don't worry. Like, our son is, the birth of our son is first and foremost, like, just take care of yourself. We'll be fine. We're gonna figure it out. We're smart. Like, we're good for, X many months." I was like, Okay." And then they lay me off. I'm like, "Oh, fiddle."
Yeah. So
So,
they
so my maternity leave started that day, basically. They gave me a nice, severance package. They gave me all of my equipment because I was working from home, so I basically had, like, startup capital. I had already reached out to like, a mentor of mine, who I used to work for, and it's like, "Hey, if there's any projects that you're not interested in, or if you wanna work together on something, I have capacity." And so she became like an outside salesperson, like, all of a sudden, and then I told my network what was going on, so I had old clients coming up to me being like, "Hey, can we go on retainer with you?" I'm like, "Sure." So it just kind of, like,
yeah.
happened. I'm like, packing a hospital bag and, like, spinning up, Kwedar Co. And so, um, it was like
Awesome.
a very interesting time. About a couple months in, I've had my son, I'm still meeting with my coach, and I have clients, and it's going well, and it feels really good, and I think, "Wow, okay." And my coach said, "Lauren, I just want you to know, like, this is not how new businesses start. You are very lucky." And I said, "Now, well, hold on a second."
Yeah. It didn't feel very good when that happened
Yeah.
back then.
Well, and
Hello.
also, at that point, I'd been in the biz for 15 years or so, and I
Yeah.
said, "I've been doing this for 15 years. Like, I have an okay reputation,
You're like,
and I have a body
I
of
am
work
not a
that is."
newbie. Hello.
Yeah, yeah, it's like I didn't just, like, spring from Zeus's head, and just start doing. And that was a moment of clarity for me. I was like, I'm on the right path. Like, this is finally, after years of feeling so beaten down and, kind of used and abused to a degree, that I was like, "Oh, this is why I'm here. I'm here to help people, and these are my special skills and talents, and I'm finally getting to use all of them." I was like, "Hell yeah, this is awesome."
Yeah. That's awesome. And did that y I read in your bio also about
Mhm.
your people first philosophy. Did it
Mhm.
come from this mirror moment of your own?
Yeah, very, very much so. I mean, I watched. I think a lot of times as we go through life and experience things, we learn what we like, and then almost as importantly, we learn what we don't like and what doesn't resonate. And I thought, if when I started, I'm not hiring anybody. I was burned and burned out, and I just thought, I can't do this. That has changed, but at the time, it was like, it'll be me, myself, and I.
I can
And
trust myself.
I hated the idea of making choices based on
Yeah.
payroll or anything like that. Like, I was at that point not fully trusting myself to run the business with people relying on me. I thought I could take care of clients, but then, I mean, I got hired to do a statewide political campaign, the media for it, and I was like, "Well, I need some help." So, I started
Yeah,
pulling in contractors and
there's
stuff. I
not
say,
enough time in the day.
"Oh, no, no," especially, with a baby.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, learned really quickly after that. I was like, "I'm not doing this again until my kids are out of the house." That was insane.
And I bet you must have learned about boundaries, quite quickly, in the
Whew.
beginning phase of your business, didn't you?
Yeah, the hard way for sure. Only the hard way, but yes. And so it's nice, it's fun to kind of use those and use those muscles, and to show my team now, like, no, we don't have to do that. I appreciate the client first mentality. We do wanna take good care of them, but no, you can say no to that.
You can go to sleep now.
Yeah, you may graciously decline that opportunity that is not in the scope of work.
Yeah, totally, totally. But if you look back, if you could speak to that version of yourself standing in that moment when they called you the layoff moment, what would you tell that person now?
Oh my gosh. I was so upset. I mean, I'd never been really fired before. I mean, unless you count some, babysitting gigs, which was just absolutely not at all my forte growing up. So it was a brand new experience for me. And I remember I called my husband. He was out of town and he was, I won't say what he said, but I mean, he totally, I'd probably say what he said because he just pulled me up. I mean, I was a puddle on the floor. Like, I can't believe that happened. And he was like, "You have got this. Like, we don't need those guys." He's like, "Mark my words, this is gonna be the best thing that's ever happened to you." And he was 100% right in that moment because
Awesome.
I needed I'm so loyal, and I I really couldn't it was really hard to fathom leaving someone, and I needed to, and so, they crowbarred me out of a really difficult situation and set me on the path I needed to be on, so it was a blessing, it was painful, and, nobody likes to be let go, like, I was like, "What the hell? I was gonna fire you first."
Yeah, seriously, I was leaving. Hello?
You
You're
don't
not
get to
allowed
tell
to
me to go.
do it first.
I'm telling you I'm leaving.
Yeah, can we go back 5 minutes and
Yes,
then
yes,
I'm quitting.
right. So my ego for sure took a hit.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I would tell her like, "This you have no idea what is in store for you. Like, you should call them back and tell them thank you right now."
awesome. I can't imagine. I mean, I'm American, but I've been here in Europe for
Mhm.
22 years,
Mm,
and
mhm, mhm.
it it's illegal pretty much to do that most everywhere here. Like, I've been gone long enough that it's unfathomable that I could have been 8 months pregnant and that could happen. Like, holy crap.
It definitely shook me up. I mean,
Yeah.
now being an employer, I have contractors and W-2s, and I can't imagine ever doing that to somebody. I have let people go. I
Mm-mm.
have laid people off. Um And it's tough because, you do if you're, a nice person, you kinda know what's going on in people's lives, and you just think, "Oh my gosh, like, I hate to put you in this position, but also you're screwing up, you gotta go."
Business is
Or
business also.
yeah, yeah, but, my good um, one of my first hires, uh became pregnant or learned she was pregnant actually after we hired her, and so I mean, we're a micro company. We provided her maternity leave her first year on the job, and I didn't have to we didn't, like, fight her on or anything. I mean, when I was working at this other company, I was their very first employee to take maternity leave. I didn't know what the package was gonna be until, like, a couple weeks before I had my first kid. I was like, "What? Please tell."
Like, what am I even getting here? What, hello?
I
Do you
mean,
help
if
anything?
it's nothing,
Oh my
fine, but,
gosh.
just tell me, like, and
Yeah.
so just be treating people like human beings and understanding that they've got lives, like, we spend a lot of time at work together, but we're not operating on brains or hearts or anything, like, if family comes first, if you've got a life, like, I want them to be whole people. If you look at it somewhat Machiavellianly, I mean, like, yeah, that then brings them their best selves to work, but it's more than that. I genuinely care about who they are and if they're happy, and if they're not, like, I want them to be somewhere where they are happy.
And I always bring up the ripples that it makes as well, right? When
Yeah.
you do that with other people, you leave a legacy that helps them to grow in a way or to treat
Mhm.
somebody else the same way. And that
Mhm.
people first mentality that you have for this, it's such a beautiful thing that's come out of it as well.
Yeah, I mean, for such a tiny company, like, I know we have an impact. I know we have an impact on our clients, and they have an impact on the people they serve, and it's just like it goes, it's a pebble in the pond, and you're just watching it go and go and go. And actually, I had a team member resign the other day, and I'm thrilled for her. We're gonna miss her, but at the same time, like, yeah, go stretch your wings, go see what's out there. And it's just kind of part of it, but I want her to go be her full self somewhere.
So your firm, your company, it's PR, right?
Yes.
And
Mhm.
visibility. I have a question about visibility for you.
Alright, let's do it.
So what's one myth about visibility that you'd actually love women to stop believing or stop thinking?
Okay, I don't know if it's a myth so much, but I do think folks think like, "Well, if I just want it to happen, it's gonna happen, first of all."
Magic?
We do yes, it is not by osmosis, and then also that, if I just do LinkedIn or I just do podcasting or things like that. I mean, it is you know, as omni-channel as you can stand, the more you feed the machine, especially with the proliferation of AI, you've got to be consistent, you've got to be clear, and you've got to be kind of omnipresent so that when folks are looking for you, the people and the machines can find you and they're finding you for what you want to be known for. I actually I have a great anecdote for this. So the other day, I get a phone call from this man, Donnie, who I have not spoken to in 10 years. And he tells me he's putting on a conference and he would like a female podcaster to round out his panel. And I was like, "Oh yeah, I've got a podcast." He goes, "I know," and he goes, "I know we've known each other for like a really long time, but I totally forgot about you until I looked up female podcasters in Fort Worth, Texas, in perplexity, and there you were." And I was like, "Yes, I
Hey,
did it." So,
that's
he's
when
like,
it's working.
yeah, he's like, "I looked on LinkedIn, I didn't see anybody in my network," and so he goes to the machine, and there I was. And I was like, "Okay." I mean, we just you cannot rely on people remembering everything about you. Like, I'll trigger two-factor authentication to log into my kid's pediatrician's account, and then I get a text message, and I think, "Oh, I've got a text. Who's that from?" I just triggered the text message myself. Like,
Oh, that's awesome.
we are
I
frazzled. We're fractured. To ask me to remember everything about everyone I know is an impossible feat. So you've got to do your work to make sure that the bots know who you are and who you serve, that your network knows. I mean, it's a lot of work. I'm sorry to tell you. There are some shortcuts, but you've got to be consistent. You got to be clear. If you change something somewhere, like, and I'm guilty of this too. Like, I changed everything on my LinkedIn except for the about page on my resume about Kwedar Co. Like, that was kinda older. Like, I changed every other about everywhere else, and I was like, "Oh my god, I haven't touched that in, like, a year. Whoops, whoops." So, I'm guilty of it too. But, if there's information out there about you, you wanna make sure that it's all singing from the same choir sheet.
Consistency,
Mhm,
consistency,
mhm,
consistency for visibility. It's
yep,
so important, so important.
mhm.
And
So,
you're completely right. Everything you said about making sure the machines can find you because the machines are looking at credibility across the board, and the
mhm.
machines can understand context better than SEO, which is dying. Or okay,
Evolving, certainly.
I won't be so dramatic. It's traffic is going down, AI is going up. Everything you said, I stand 100% fully behind that.
Right, and my little industry is having a moment. I'm not sure how long it's gonna last because everything's changing, but right now in November of 2025, AI is ranking earned media higher than owned media. So if you're in an article that someone else has written about you, that will surface with greater prejudice than, if you wrote a blog post about yourself. So if you can't afford to do PR, whether with a firm like mine or on your own, that will also really help your visibility.
That's true. I have so many questions about PR. I want to have you again because now
Still,
you triggering all these questions. But you also triggered something with me, AI. So we just spoke about AI and how things are changing. We're also inundated with noise. There is a ton of AI or sludge, sometimes as I call
yeah.
it, or just
Mhm.
noise in general. You're in the middle of the PR world, which you're either seeing it or you're being asked about it. But do you have anything that you do that's to ground you at this moment when everything around you is so loud? Or do you have any advice for anyone else who can't see through the noise?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, if you feel like this, I understand. You're certainly not alone in the overwhelm, and some days it's just like, whoa. I actually, there was a minute there where it was just all I was consuming was information about this, and it made me feel terribly despondent because it was just like, "Oh my gosh, I'm not smart enough to stay on top of this. I don't have the capacity, the wherewithal, the brain power." And then, I'm also still doing work I've already been hired to do, and now I need to, like, evolve, and oh my gosh, and I finally thought, "I I need to keep my finger on a pulse of this, but it is not my job to consume everything out there." So I really just kind of put myself on an information diet. Like, I get a couple of AI specific newsletters. I'll look at those just once a week rather than every single day. There are some people I follow on LinkedIn, for instance, particularly in the AI plus PR pace. And I do look at their information, but I kinda, like, save it for later. It's the same thing with, like, news headlines. I'm paying attention to local news every day, but as far as, national or international news, I cannot I had to turn off, status alerts on my phone because every time I picked up my phone, I felt like I was being assaulted by news, and so
It's true though, you're
so I
really
like
right. I love the I love the picture it paints me, but it's really true. That is the world that we live in now. I
Mhm.
have notifications turned off entirely on my phone. I only see important things on my watch now. Otherwise, I
Yeah.
can't. I just
I
can't.
I gave up my Apple Watch because it was too much. I was like, "I need to tell time." And also, if you're only consuming, how can you create? And so we're turning into this consumption society rather than creation society. And, like, as I've really learned how to use different prompts in ChatGPT and Claude and so on and so forth, I found myself outsourcing my thinking. I was like, "Whoop, nope, gotta stop there." So now, I will only come to it until I am like really I've got fully formed thoughts and experience and all that if I'm doing content creation or if I'm wanting to look something up, like I need to kind of be down the road before I'm just like, what is whatever. I woke up after a bad night of sleep the other day and I could not remember the word for vending machine. And it was like really bothering me. I was like, uh-oh. And for a couple
Uh,
hours, like
Forget the word vending
I
machine.
don't know. I was like,
Also, why were you thinking about in the morning
like
the
I had
vending
like
machine anyway?
I had like a dream and then I was like, what was it? And then it was like this device, that we buy things from and I was like dispensing machine? No, that's not it. I mean, I was like, You are not allowed to look this up. You have to get there on your own." I mean, I'm
You
like
gotta figure
I'm
it
like,
out.
I'm making my coffee and I'm like, "Vending machine."
That felt awesome, right? See, I don't need bots
Yeah,
anymore.
I
I
did
don't
it.
need AI. I don't
Yes.
need Google.
Like looking around, I'm like, "Yeah." I know. It was distressing, but I thought I've given away so much of my thinking. It's so seductive, but then, I mean, I'm using I'm just like way off track here, but I'm using Claude for something right now. And I'm like, "Here's where I am," and we're having a dialogue. I'm like, "That," I need to be able like, "That makes no sense, dude." Like, we would never say that, right? That actually the way you say that is sort of, demeaning. Like, and there. No, you need to be in the driver's seat for sure.
Yeah, and it's tough because I talk about this a lot. And it's using AI in let's say, in a way that removes the human element of the thinking
Mhm. Mhm.
is the fear of what's happening for
Right.
me at least, right? It's
Mm,
also
mm,
the cycle that we see. AI is learning from what people write online, and if people are
mhm.
writing online what AI is writing, this regurgitation cycle is continuing, and
Yeah.
now people are starting to write sloppy to be able to pass as human. So what happened to literary anything?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
tough as marketeers, right?
It is, and it's a couple of thoughts. One, and kind of what you just said, but to say it more pointedly, if you're using it for content creation, like, yeah, so same. But if you're not coming to the table with your own thoughts, your own experiences, your own expertise, like, basically writing almost the whole thing on your own and asking it to, put a polish on it, whatever, it's gonna plagiarize because that's all it knows how to do. I almost I create my content almost exclusively like 100% me, but one day I was like, "Oh, what should I talk about today, Chad? I'm all burned out. I need to create something." And it was like, "What about this?" I'm like, "Sure, what the hell?" Then I ran it through a plagiarism checker. I mean, it was just like lit up like a Christmas tree. I like, "Okay."
We can teach our systems human AI collaboration, but it's not a set it and forget it. People can't open ChatGPT and create a
Right.
prompt for it. I'm talking like a complete AI system. That is possible, but that is
Mhm.
a ton of work. It's a ton
Right.
of work to create something that can actually mirror you or can help
Mhm.
you to brainstorm in a different way. But that's
Right.
not what 90% of people are using it for. That's the issue.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I made a comment a couple months ago where like just because I was getting a couple, from sort of past clients were like, "I wrote this news release. Can you just send it out for me?" Like, well, first of all, you did not write that.
First sentence, every word has a capital letter. We know exactly who wrote that.
Like, and second of all, just because it's better than anything you've ever written does not make it good. No.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Sorry. Yeah. Obviously, I climbed up on a soapbox there.
I love it, I love it. I'm right there with you. I'm, like, standing directly beside you. I'm all
Yeah.
over that. Love it. So where can people find you?
Yeah,
online? So give a shout out to all the stuff that you want to shout out, your
all the
podcast,
things.
everything.
Okay, so the business is Kwedar Co. So we're everywhere at Kwedar Co. That's KWEDARCO.com. Kwedar is my maiden name. And so yes, it's kind of hard to spell, sorry. We're everywhere there. The podcast is The Impatient Entrepreneur Pod everywhere. And then I'm very active on LinkedIn. So Lauren Kwedar Cockerell, if you want to come say hi, you're welcome to slide into my DMs and we can chat.
I'm going to slide into your DMs
Please.
directly after this, right before I go have dinner. But I want to thank you so much for joining me, Lauren. You're a rock star. You kick ass.
Thank you. I could do this for 12 more hours.
Yay! Okay, so we have to book a second one, and we have to
Yes.
book a chill moment. So
Looking forward
definitely
to it.
would love this.
I'm
I look
sign me up.
forward to more on the mic and off the mic.
Likewise. Thank you.
Well, that was today's Morning Cup of Brand Spark with Lauren Cockerell. A reminder that clarity doesn't always arrive gently. Sometimes it shows up in the fall, and it's meant to be. If this reflection gave you something to exhale into, share it with someone navigating their own rebuild. Until next time, keep your coffee warm and your mirror close.
In the mirror light I see what's true. The spark in me, the spark in you. One cup, one truth, one little fire. Morning voices climbing higher. So grab your cup, let's spark it up.